12:23. Okay, are there any corrections to the minutes as distributed?
Make a motion with
A motion to accept the minutes.
Meeting July
Excuse me a minute.
16th, 2013. July 16th, 2013. July
Oh,
16th,
I've been having trouble with it.
2013.
You got the date right?
Yep. If we just- There we go. Go right ahead.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I'll make it.
Second.
Okay. So moved.
Can I just have
All in
1
favor?
second to, what we have done in the past, which can absolutely change, but I would kind of go through the agenda to, just to steer the meeting. And, but you're getting ready to vote on the minutes, which I was gonna say hadn't done yet, but if you want me not to do that, that's perfectly fine. That's just kind of how the system began to work.
I think we'll just, we'll approve the minutes and then we'll go on to the agenda. if
Which I
that's-
left off the agenda.
Okay,
Apologize.
okay, so, okay, now we'll go to the agenda then.
Would you like me to?
We got to vote.
Yeah, you have to vote on the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said all in favor to
Aye.
accept
Aye.
the minutes?
Mhm.
Aye.
Just ready to go into the agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay. Next thing on our agenda, and I apologize for leaving out approval of the minutes, that obviously needs to be an agenda item. Next thing that you guys need to do is to determine a monthly meeting day and time. Most recently, it was the first Tuesday of every month at 8 o'clock. And that's at the board's discretion. I would just tender that, in my opinion, I don't really think we need to meet monthly. That's certainly y'all's decision, but there were a lot of meetings where we were out at 20 minutes after 8:30. So, certainly if we need to call a meeting, we can. If you determine that you want to go every other month or something, we can certainly call it, have special call meetings, but, just throw that out there, but that's certainly, it's your discretion as a board.
All right, well, how does the Tuesday, work for everybody? Y'all want
Works
to keep
good to me.
Tuesday?
Suits me,
My only suggestion was gonna be, to give the staff time to get in the office instead of having the meeting at 8 AM sharp. Give them a few minutes so he doesn't have to stay after work the night before, get everything together. And maybe we could start the meeting at 9 or 10. How do you feel about that?
Fine with me.
9 o'clock, be fine.
9 o'clock?
Mhm.
Sounds great to me.
Okay, can I have a motion to change the time to 9 o'clock?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Who second?
You did.
No,
I'm sorry, I apologize.
I second.
You seconded?
You
Bush?
seconded.
I second.
We need to determine how often. You guys still want to do it monthly?
The second Tuesday of the month is what we usually do, correct?
Which is the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday? You want to keep it to the first Tuesday?
Fine with me.
That's okay.
And because we have an election coming up, I think we are gonna have to meet monthly right now.
Okay.
In fact, there might be a couple more meetings added that we might discuss today.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is a confidentiality agreement, which should be in your packet of information.
disclosure agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's it? I'm sorry, I got a lot of papers.
Small type.
You see?
Right there. What's that second page? No, that's your oath.
Oh, yeah. That's one guy.
Collected somewhere, I thought it was that. Ms. Guyver, that's also one tape, you see strange things on
Oh,
the
here it
back
is,
of
here it
your,
is.
papers. We try to recycle paper as much as possible, so sometimes agendas and things like that will have random things on the back, but
Mm-hmm.
try to save a little money there.
You collecting these?
Yes, ma'am.
You sign it first, right?
Yes, sir, on the back side.
Who's got the, sign that, just write your name. Let's see, signature print.
Anybody like a copy of that? Give it to me.
Yes, I would, thank you.
Hey, one for me too, David.
Thank you. Okay. Confidentiality.
All right, next thing on the agenda is, went into old business, and it's a little bit out of our normal order because I figured we need to get our new board sworn in and officers elected before we did any business, so. Mike Cox called me and requested to be put on the agenda to talk about, just to give an update on the Southern Coalition for Social Justice. And my understanding is he spoke with Ms. Godfrey and Mr. Olney last night, which was perfectly legal because last night Ms. Godfrey was not a board of elections member. So I don't know, he didn't tell me, he just sent me an email. He didn't tell me the extent of the conversation, but I'm guessing since he's not here that whatever you guys discussed, he decided he didn't need to be here to talk about it today, so.
He told me that he was gonna get with you and set up a time for a meeting
Right.
with the board.
Right.
And then we'd go over what we need to talk.
Okay, he did, now that you said that, he had that on the email that, I think he said the 29th, does that sound right? The 29th, so, but it was a very short email, and I didn't get the indication that that meant he was not gonna be here, so I didn't,
So we need to meet on the 29th.
I guess if that's what he was talking about with you guys.
9 AM. Regarding the Southern Coalition and Mr. Cox responding.
Right, right. I think he was talking about his written response or something to that effect.
Okay.
All right. Next item is titled More New Business. And in your packet, I've included, one of your responsibilities in this first meeting is to approve my delegation of duties. And I put 2 copies in there, one of which is has the square bullets, and the other one has the kind of slanted font type on there. I read through both of them, and the one that's got the slanted font is 9 pages long, 8.5 pages long, and it's very generic. I don't know. I'm a little more fond of the shorter one. It seems to be a little more personalized, but I put them both there, so whichever ones you guys feel like is best suited, or if you have an alternative plan, that would be fine. Whatever you guys want to do. Let me get copies of them.
Yeah, is this something that we've had for some time, or is this something new, or something from the state?
No, I found Miss Page's copy of hers, and hers was the lengthier one. I had another director who emailed me theirs, which was the shorter version, and I went in and changed and put Pasquotank County in there. It is by statute, you are required to, in some form or fashion, delegate my responsibilities to me. It does not specifically say that it needs to be either form that you have before you. Those are just two that I found. Ironically, I put a request out to all 16 counties that are in our district and only received 2 responses. So, which is a little bit unusual. Usually your email blows up with responses from everybody, but everybody's got a lot on their plate the last week. So, but as far as I know, you can completely rewrite it, or we can do it as a group, or do a little more research, what have you.
Well, to have a little more time and be able to read over all of them.
Look at it a little more.
Okay.
We can, I tell you what we can do, we can, if you want me to, we can calendar that. I mean, I can put that on the agenda for the 29th.
Okay.
Something else to do on that. We can do that after Ms. Cox gets done, if you guys want to, if that's okay with y'all. Okay. All right. And maybe, if you want, if you guys would like, I can send out another request. And after today, I think after today, a lot of directors will be a little more relaxed. So maybe I can get a few more responses, and I can email them to you guys if you'd like me to. All right, here's your copies of your confidentiality. The next thing on the agenda is discussing nameplates and badges, name badges. That comes from primarily one thing, and that was when we did our challenge hearings. We rarely have, usually the 1 or 2 or 3 people that come see our regular meetings all know who we are. But at the challenge hearing, we had a number of people out there that probably didn't. And everybody was introduced, and we had cardboard nameplates. I did some pricing, and they're only like $11 or $12. So I just thought it would be a good idea to have nameplates. It would be professional looking. You know, when you have other challenges, which I understand we will, whatever we need, whatever kind of function we have, I just thought it would look more professional if we had regular nameplates, and especially after I found out they weren't but $11 or $12.
That's very inexpensive.
That's
I thought they'd
extremely
be
expensive.
30 and up.
They were, I can't remember the price, but it was in the neighborhood of $11 or $12 for a regular, you know, standard 3-sided
With a desk.
kind of a triangle piece of wood with an engraved plate on it. as a matter of fact, my original plan was just to get names because, you know, theoretically, titles could change every years. You may have the same three board, but maybe rearrange their titles. But for $11 or $12 every 2 years, I think we could probably put chairman, secretary, or whatever on there, if you guys would like it. And it's the same thing with the name badges, I guess they're called. We all went to Concord to a conference, and we were one of the few people that didn't have name tags. Same thing, they're like $7 or $8. Very, very inexpensive, and very nice. They're magnetic, and the magnet is unbelievably strong. He guaranteed me that it would go through a sport coat and stay there as long until you took it off. It's just you know, it's just two pieces that are magnetic, but they have the pulling power of.
Right.
I believe the state issues those when you're a certified board member. They click
will
together.
Oh, the
They're
magnetic
very-
ones.
They're very good.
Tremendously magnetic. I couldn't believe it. So, and they're only $7 or $8.
Okay.
And I think that it represents us well when we're at conferences and things to have, you know, to have those little things like that. So,
Well, I was hoping to be able to tell you at this meeting that I could use the ones I had from being here before, but they have staff member, so I won't be able, I was gonna say, you don't have to order me any, because I have about 4.
Right.
But that's not the case. I thought we could save a little bit of money.
Again, they're,
So-
and I appreciate that, but I was amazed at how inexpensive they were. There's even, you know, there's a little, I guess it's tin one that the name slides in and out of, like I'm on a board and we have those. And you think that'd be a little cheaper because you can just take the nameplate out and change
Right.
it. Well, they're like $1 less than the wooden ones that are permanent, so unbelievably inexpensive. So I thought that would be professional looking.
Yeah.
So is that okay to, you guys all agree that we can order those? Okay.
Yes.
That's
I think we probably should put that in the form of a motion.
So moved.
Okay.
All in favor? Did somebody second it?
I'll second it,
All in favor?
yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'll get those ordered and we should, we'll have those for our conference in August.
That'd be nice.
Which is a good segue into the next item on the agenda, which is our upcoming conference, August 20th and 22nd. I shared with you guys the funny story about the rooms getting filled up. Everybody would certainly rather stay in the hotel where the conference is, but the email went out to directors at about lunchtime on Friday, and the lady that I called on Tuesday when I got the email that the block of rooms was already filled, when I called the lady, she said that before she went home Friday, the block was filled. So there's no way that directors across the state, and I got y'all's back on this now, apparently directors just call up and say, give me 4 rooms right now, and before they even ask anybody if they can go. So I'll work on getting a little quicker with that, and then I guess they cancel them if they don't need them. So anyway, we're staying 2 miles from the hotel, so, you know, if the weather's nice, we can take a stroll to the hotel or what have you. So I get all the
Get y'all
rest.
some exercise.
And
That's
August,
right,
I
a
don't
little
know.
exercise. So, or we can try. So, I've already got all the confirmations, and I will, you two gentlemen know that I will give you guys a packet of information before we go, and it'll have your confirmation number and everything. And you've been here before, but the van is available. Well, I'll call if you guys are interested and see if the van is available that weekend. So.
I guess you'll be using the van.
Well, I usually drive myself.
Uh-huh.
So,
We could use the van.
You certainly can.
If
If
it's
it's
in
a
better running shape than it was when we
yeah,
went
last time y'all
short.
weren't sure if you were gonna make it there. So,
Maybe the date's not the problem. They wanna come home.
yeah, well, they got there fine. It was coming in, they were worried about. They started making crazy noises about the time they got to
Really?
Greensboro last year. Had them a little worried, but they made it.
Yeah, they don't let us use the newer one, so.
Well, would you guys like me to check on the availability of the van?
Check on it, but
Okay.
just don't reserve it.
Okay. I'll get you guys emailed this
Because we'll talk
today.
about it.
Okay, I'll let you know today about that. So anyway, that's been paid for, I have a receipt, and I have confirmation numbers for everybody. If we do go, if everybody goes separate, I'll get you those numbers so you have them when you get there. And the final thing is I won't use the word fiasco, I don't think it was a fiasco, but the mistake that I made earlier this week with allowing Mayor Peel to have a meeting and do a little bit of campaigning in the office. I sent an email out and apologized to you guys, but I want to do it in person. I apologize for letting that happen. I've since learned several things that were very valuable. Number one, I didn't allow a law to be broken, or I didn't break a law. That was the most important thing on my mind. It's not a general statute that they can't do that, it's a local policy, you know, an individual board policy. I guess you could in fact have a policy that says, yes, we'll encourage campaigning in the office. The policy here, I've discovered, was unwritten, but it's always been understood that there will be no campaigning in the office. I of course learned the story that got published about I guess he was the, at the time, elected mayor that was defeated by Mr. Peel, I guess, McLean, that was asked to leave by Ms. Page. And rightly so, that's what the board, you know, that was the board's wishes at the time. I think that we should come up with a written policy. Very simple, you know, and I haven't really come up with anything, but I did get I called and spoke with Don at the state board, and Don Wright, and he gave me some ideas, some things that we need to consider and what have you. He said their policy up there is, and it's very hard because everybody that comes in his office comes with a reporter and comes with a crowd. So he says they often have to ask very politely for people to step out into the parking lot to make their speech. He said that they even, if the weather's not bad, they're not such mean people up there that they allow them to come in if the weather's inclement outside, you know, whether it be snowing, raining, whatever. So, but he said their policy is for it to be done outside the office. And I think we should have something in writing too. If it's your wish to continue that, then I think we should put it in writing.
Right. Well, I want to commend you on the way you handled everything.
Oh, thank you.
I too thought that it was the law and we couldn't have anybody in here politicking, and you went a step further and found out that unless there was a written policy, you know, there was nothing we could do about it, and so you were proactive, and I think that was great.
Thank you.
And I want to commend you for doing that and doing such a good job.
That was self-defense.
But what is the feeling now? Are we to allow this for this municipal election? I mean, I don't think we need to write a policy until this election is over, if that's what we need to do.
I agree with that. My recommendation, that's what I told the reporter. I said that it was going to be on our agenda today, and any policy that might be adopted would not take effect until 12 noon Friday. I absolutely think that, and that's what Don Wright said. He said if anybody else comes in and wants to do that, you need to let them. The only thing I will do, if somebody does want to, is I will ask them to kind of scoot over here to the side a little bit, because Mayor Peel had a horseshoe of crowd, and if somebody may have come in, I don't know, and just blended right into the group, but had they wanted to come in, they'd have had to say excuse me. So, you know, I would, the only thing I will do this week if somebody does come in is just ask them to kind of step away from the window up there so that we can, if somebody comes in, we can continue to do business. But any policy that we do adopt, and we wouldn't do it today because I don't have anything to present to you, so it wouldn't get done this week anyway, but should definitely not take effect until 12 noon, I think. I opened the door, and Mr. Wright said I need to leave it open till the end of the election. Nobody's come in yet and asked for, you know, can I bring a crowd or anything.
But
but
it might happen, so you
it might, and if it does, I'll have to allow it.
Sure.
You know, one of the things we should think about is the room that we used over there, that we're gonna be using.
Right.
We can sort of remind them that if they want to have something, you know, they should contact the proper people, and
Right.
they can.
That's something that could be done. Or they could do it, you know, out front if the weather's
well.
okay. You know, either way. That room stays very, very booked down there.
Yeah,
So, but
I
they
can-
certainly would have, you know, they would have, be able to do that if they could make that work. But, so anyway, you know, this week, if anybody else comes in, and we've had quite a few people file since Mayor Peel was in here. And it was not Mayor Peel's fault. He asked me if he could do it, and I just, as a new director, I just wasn't thinking. He used the words, may I say a few words to these folks, and I said sure, and it just didn't even cross my mind until about 2 sentences into what he was saying, I was like, uh-oh, I don't think I was supposed to let that happen in here. And at that point, I thought the lesser of the two evils would be to allow him to continue.
Right.
If I went up and broke it up at that point, I was afraid we'd have the 30 or 40 people that were here would be writing letters to the paper, or, you know. So I thought the lesser of the two evils was to just let it go. So, and thank goodness that phone call the next morning assured me that I didn't break any laws.
The only other question I want to ask, was that photo taken from Kelly's office?
Yes, and that would not happen
Yeah,
again.
I wouldn't let them in
No.
there with a camera.
That's not what happened again.
Okay,
I didn't even go into that, but that's, Kelly and I have already discussed that.
yeah.
And that guy, and I'm gonna tell you what happened with that guy, and I guess I don't know him, I guess he's a nice guy. I was standing at the doorway, and he said, "Excuse me," and walked like around me, stepped around me to get into the office. And I thought, who is he? And next thing I knew, you know, he was had his knee on the counter and was taking pictures. So I didn't even bother to ask you guys. I'm gonna, you know, not allow that to happen anymore.
So,
Not that he was pushy or anything, but I mean, he just waltzed right in.
do the paper.
Yeah, the guy from, and he's not the photographer we usually see, he's a younger guy. So, anyway, he wasn't rude about it, but he just strolled right in like he had
Well,
already
you
had
handled it
permission.
very well, you did a good job, and
Appreciate it.
we all learned something today, that there is not a policy, and so we can't enforce something that we don't have a policy in effect, so.
So would you guys like me to draw up something just for you to look at? I've got a half a page of notes that Mr. Wright gave me, language that we might want to use.
Yes.
And just draw it up and you guys can look at it. And we're in no hurry because it'll be over at 12 noon Friday, so we've got plenty of time to decide.
Right.
We'll drop something, then you let Don look at it again before.
Okay, yeah, I'll send it to him, see if that's acceptable with the state. Okay, good. And that's all I have as far as an agenda.
Anybody else have anything?
I don't have one.
Okay, I do have a couple of things, that I wanna talk about, and one, involves the conference day that we are leaving town. Our next regular scheduled meeting, is August the 13th, correct?
I don't have a
And that'll be at 9.
What do we, is that the first Thursday? It's the first
Is it
Tuesday.
Thursday or Tuesday?
First
Oh, no,
Tuesday.
it's
the
August.
It's the second Tuesday.
Okay,
The
the
sixth
second
will be the
Tuesday is
first
the
Tuesday.
13th, so that will be our regularly scheduled meeting.
No, we do the first Tuesday.
The first Tuesday.
You guys voted on meeting the first Tuesday.
The 6th,
The 6th.
okay. And that'll be at 9 AM. Okay.
And is the conference that week or the next week? I wrote
It's the
down
20th we
Okay,
leave.
okay.
The party chairs can deliver a list of judges that they would like put in to the different precincts. And that is to be delivered on August 15th by 5 PM. And so, and with that said, we only have a few days to look at that, and we are to have a required meeting by law on August 20th to put those judges and workers in place.
Okay.
So we actually have to have a meeting on the morning of the 20th.
Do you have to meet
9 AM.
the week before that you were referring to, where the list has to be delivered to us? Do you have to, well, that is the 20th, takes care of that.
Excuse me, Madam Chairman. In the past, what we have done is, since we can all be going to the conference,
Yes.
that we used to have the meeting there of picking up the, you know, the, what you just said about the party chairs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Does that have to be a public thing?
Yes,
It
we
does.
did not do that there. We did a closed meeting with a
closed
client.
meeting.
Yeah, when we were looking for a director. But that all has to be done here in an open meeting.
In an open meeting?
Yeah,
And
that
a
was the
specified date.
directorship
It's
Okay.
gotta be on
Yeah.
August 20th.
that you're thinking
Okay,
of.
I just wanted to know.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so this is business that we need to take care of on the 20th, prior to